Thank you, everybody, for your introduction. Good morning, everyone. After I've worked for more than 24 years in Mars and McDonald's, I started to take on a different position. I'm serving as a lead consultant starting from last year. What I'm going to share with you is some of my thoughts and observations on lean management throughout my many years of work experience in the multinational corporations. They might speak to the truth of some businesses, but there are many other F&B businesses that may vary from the cases that I illustrated. So feel free to correct me. Here are the main topics I would like to share with you all. What are the challenges faced by food supply chain in China? And what are the opportunities for food supply chain to improve in China? And I have led a few end-to-end lean transformation case sharing. I wish to share with you. And I will also share with you the key success factors for end-to-end lean transformation. Many businesses have taken up end-to-end lean transformation, but there haven't been many big successes. But I would like to share with you some successful stories. There are current challenges faced by the Chinese businesses. First of all, they are faced with some traditional challenges. We were faced by some melamine crisis before, remember? And many middle-class Chinese parents would love to buy imported baby formulas for their kids. And they would rather go abroad to buy the baby formulas for their kids instead of buying from the domestic market. That shows food safety is still faced with some kind of a crisis. And our food quality is yet to fully meet the needs and demands of white-collar workers. Third is that the e-commerce has emerged strongly, casting big impact to the traditional channels. If the traditional channels are yet to be fully prepared for that, for example, price-wise, and like chocolate, for example, the transportation of some broken products is still also posing challenges. You know, there are some courier services, but if they are not handled properly, it still breaks chocolate or some other fragile food products. And there are also increasing challenges on the efficiency and cost for Chinese food and beverage businesses. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how to use end-to-end lean transformation to help us tackle the challenge. Here is the National Food Safety Survey. As you can see that more than 51% of our consumers are very concerned, believing our food safety is in some serious trouble. And there are another 33% think that we are faced with some problems but still can be resolved. Combined, we have more than 80% of the Chinese consumers expressing concerns for the food safety of China's products. And we break them further down into where the biggest problems are. 65% of the consumers think the problems exist in production or processing. And There are 10% of them think that it's in the consumption area. So this poses a challenge for us, a question for us, to maintain a full life cycle safety, a full cycle safety starting from the field all the way down to the table. That's some very serious scandal, melamine baby formula. You can feel free to log on to CFDA's website, and you will see on weekly basis the disclosure of businesses got exposed because they failed to meet the food safety standards. For example, excessive amount of bacteria, etc., etc. Something that's simply essential, but many businesses have just failed to meet the baseline requirement. And also in terms of the price, another challenge. One concerned consumer made a comparative study by taking a photo of some Chinese food stuff and American food stuff in the supermarkets, and we realized that some American food stuff are sold at a lower price than the Chinese equals, even though the American average consumers make more money than their counterparts in China. People got shocked once such comparative study was presented right to them. Is it because the distributors has enjoyed an excessive amount of profit? No, it's just because we have too much of a cost. We have low efficiency for lack of centralized lean management. Therefore, the profit margin isn't not even as high as their American counterparts, even though they fetch a very higher price. That's why more than 80% of the consumers opt for procuring imported food. More than 80% of the average consumer buy imported food on a regular basis. For example, some Chinese consumers just enjoy buying Japanese food, especially when they travel there. They buy in bulk. It's both a big challenge for Chinese food businesses, but also present huge opportunities for them to see the gap and try to catch up and make improvement on themselves. And in terms of e-commerce platforms like JD, Amazon, and many other specialized e-commerce platforms, they have all started developing their food platform. So we must make sure that e-commerce, especially e-commerce traders, must be part of our marketing strategy in order to deliver the best products to our consumers when they need it. Here are some of the opportunities for food supply chain in China to improve. First opportunity is end-to-end food security and food quality supervision. Based on my past experience, much of the food safety problems derived from the very beginning. For example, the melamine crisis, the melamine scandal, it started at the stage of milk collection. And much of product recall is primarily caused by some erroneous food ingredients. So we must focus on problematic food origins. But on top of the origins and production processing procedure, distribution process is also extremely critical. If you cannot maintain the quality at the distribution phase, then all the efforts that you have put at the first few phases will just be a big waste. For example, some distributors yet to realize chocolates need to be well preserved in fridge. When you head out to your distribution facilities, they fail to properly distribute such products, and the malpractice exists in extensive range. And some retail shops they turn off their DC in order to save energy. So much of our products might just go bad at the last link of the chain. The second opportunities exist in a faster speed to market. The third opportunity exists in e-commerce, making sure that they're integrated in your strategy. And the fourth, the lean principle. Just now, Laurent mentioned that every year there's an average 3.5% of drop in cost and increase in productivity near Monterey. So the first opportunity point, food safety issue. Just to first of all share with you the food safety guarantee by McDonald's. I joined McDonald's China in 1991 as the first group of its employees. They have already started 7 years in advance planting crops for McDonald's, like potatoes for McDonald's. That says that's 7 years in advance of the first shop of McDonald's in Beijing opens to the public, in order to ensure the unanimous taste of all the hamburgers that you buy in any McDonald's shop, thousands of them in China. Another case to share with you, Mars. Mars has got 5 principles and quality is number 1. In the wake of the melamine scandal, many dairy makers had to make a recall because much of their milk has contained the melamine in there. And much of our chocolate products have got milk as their ingredient, and also a significant number of chocolate makers got to recall their products. But Mars was lucky enough to be unmarked by this incident. Why? Because we've got a supplier guarantee letter. We have a supplier guarantee team to head all the way to the origins to ensure the quality is and the safety is well preserved. We have always, for years, insisted on less antibiotic-free kind of milk to be incorporated in our supply chain. We realize that only when we have centralized large-scale milk providers can we make sure that there is no antibiotics ever used in our milk products. So in that case, they will not even get in touch with any of the individual milk farmer.
Wow. Next is the speed of a new product to market. When I was the supervisor of the plant in Jiaxing, one day our client visited our plant and said that, Mr. Dai, your plant is so good. We have a question for you. Next quarter, we are going to organize a Sun Club event. We would like to order a customized product, and is it possible for you to deliver your product to us within 3 months? I feel very pity that we couldn't. And here is a picture. The picture has include the entire process of a new product development, from the conceptualization of new products to the launch to market. If we want to change the formula of a product, it will take us to more than 1 year to finish that. Even a minor change in the product will take us 6 months. So such speed is impossible to satisfy the needs of our clients. But the red tags on the green board are all the room of improvement and our opportunities. So from the perspective of Lean, there is huge room for improvement. And there was huge waste in the existing or old product development process. As I said, that e-commerce is developing rapidly. However, the food companies only account for 1.64% of the entire e-commerce in China. So there is huge room to sell our products through or on the e-commerce platform. As food and beverage company, we need to incorporate e-commerce into our strategy. It is a very important part of our strategy. In the past, we deliver our products to supermarkets and our stores. But now we need to combine offline with online. And in the past, in the past, we see a B2C model, but in the future, we will see more and more M2C model. Additionally, Mr. Xie also shared with us their practices. And if we have end-to-end IoT, we can have more precise marketing by precisely understanding their needs. Stephen Miller actually shared with us his insights yesterday. Our understanding or perception of consumers are totally different from the reality. We developed a variety of SKUs. However, it makes consumers in the 3rd tier and 4th tier cities in China even more confused. And our sales volumes have been negatively affected. In the past, we constantly added new SKUs and make the entire supply chain very low efficient. We had high stock or inventory, and there was huge waste of money and low sales volume. Our reputation was also damaged because of the big discount of price at the end of the shelf life. IoT need to be applied into the area of end-to-end so that the entire process could be more transparent and efficiency could be improved by a large margin. If we need to improve end-to-end based on the Lean principles, what are the areas for improvement? First, we need to eliminate and improve MVA processes. We have so many partners, distributors, retailers, suppliers, and manufacturers. We need to collaborate with each other to reduce the waste in the supply chain. Of course, there is also huge room of improvement on the side of suppliers. The same is applied to producers, retailers, and many other partners. This is the slide of Dove canisters, E2E end-to-end chain value. And Dove canister has always been one of the champion brand or product in our company. And you can see the entire process from ordering CCL materials to the production, to processing, to warehousing, packaging, and listing on supermarket shelf. It takes us 254 days to be launched on the market. And in this process, these are the points of value creation and adding in this entire value chain. And the time consumed by these points is less than 1 day. That means the rest 253 days in this process creates no value. So only 1 day in total creates value for our customers, accounting for 0.67% of the total time. So in this process, there is huge room for improvement. From the perspective of Lean, on the top, you can see our existing supply chain. There are so many steps, creating no value but cost. And the green ones are value-added parts. So we need to eliminate the red ones in our end-to-end supply chain development, so that our raw material could be translated into products and be launched on the market as soon as possible. By doing so, the cost will be reduced by a large margin, and our time to market would be reduced dramatically. There are so many opportunities for us. For example, freshness of the products. If you go to the supermarkets, the production date can reflect how much time it takes for a product, a newly produced product, to arrive in the supermarkets. Even the production site is very close to those supermarkets or retailers. It still will take them several months to arrive in the supermarkets and appear on the shelf. So these are stock or inventory, and inventory will occupy cash and generate huge loss. And when we want to develop and launch new products, one of the preconditions is to sell the old or existing products first. Then we have to wait, and there is a huge waste. We have to wait for a long period of time. And in terms of delivery, sometimes the suppliers cannot have very on-time delivery, and their response to the market is very slow. And suppliers always produce in huge volume and deliver products in huge volume to us, creating high inventory. And from the perspective of us, production cost is increasing, including land costs, and we also prefer big volume production. But if the production volume is very high, the inventory in the supply chain would be very high, and the costs will also be very high. And in terms of packaging, sometimes the packaging would be very seasonal, and we are limited by labor force. It will also negatively affect our sales in peak seasons. As I said, in the warehouse, you will see the inventory is very high, occupying much cash. And the distributors also have a high inventory level with low efficiency and poor management. The margin of distributors is also negatively affected as a result. So there is also huge room for the distributors to improve their performance. And from the perspective of retailers, they also have many problems. Some big retailers have big warehouses with high inventory level. They couldn't realize first in, first out because of such an inventory level, and some of the display on the shelf is ineffective. For example, some products are displayed on those on cashier's counter to attract the consumers, which can speak to the high inventory level of these big retailers. How can we improve this? I would like to share with you this slide. We need to analyze from end to end the entire supply chain and to see or identify the areas to improve. And we need to have a very clear vision, strategy, and indicators. And the objectives need to be cascaded to different business teams. At the same time, we need to put in place a cross-functional team with very clear objectives so as to improve customer satisfaction and improve our product quality. And there are so many ways to improve ourselves, but there are many tools available, and we need to use the right lean tools. Otherwise, our targets cannot be realized. After laying down a solid foundation, we need to extend to the two ends. One end is supplier, and the end, another end is our distributors. We need to realize or adopt electronic data exchange and execute the pooling model and better manage our inventory level and eliminate those unnecessary parts in the chain. And of course, this is a continuous improvement process. Next, I would like to share with you several cases regarding the transformation of supply chain.
First, in Mars, China, we not only supply China's market demand for chocolate, but also Asian market. One of the most important one is Thai market. Thailand market is a rapid developing one, and Snicker is really one of our biggest product. It's got peanuts in there, and the peanut taste peaks in 12 weeks. You know, after 12 weeks, it doesn't taste as good. So the freshness of that Snicker peanut is very important. So the both team in China and in Thailand, we have joined together to did an end-to-end analysis of pinpointing the opportunities to improve its taste. The retail and responded to our management team how it went, and the Thai management team will make a predictive analysis and send it over to China team, and the China team will integrate its data in Japan, in Thailand, and in Chinese mainland, and feed such data prediction to the manufacturing plant. And then they will start the logistical sourcing and all the relevant operations in advance. You know, our prediction cannot always be accurate. It's always inaccurate. So sometimes you have certain product out of stock or some products in excessive inventory. But if you increase your inventory, it will again undercut your freshness, and significant part of your margin will be eaten by such lack of freshness. So our colleagues are like firefighters on constant basis. Your plans can never catch up with the changes, and it gave everybody a hard time. But we realized our 50% of our sales were made through 7-Eleven because it's got fridge, it's got air conditioner. So it's got air conditioner, so it's pretty suitable for this. Yesterday, our professor made a good introduction to us, praising a very good data management capability of 7-Eleven. So they have some really precise data out there. So why don't we base our production on their good data supply? So our Snickers are produced on weekly basis because domestic market in China need them. So why do we have to produce them on monthly basis and stuff the Thailand pipeline with all the monthly production volume? I think we could produce them on weekly basis. So that's what the following changes have taken place. First, from push to pull. Most of the production and replenishment will be based on the actual sales of last week, through which we will pool the production operations of Beijing plant. That's change number one. Change number two, we change from monthly order to weekly order. So the lots are smaller. It will be lower possibilities for it to go out of stock, and the freshness will go up. And the product discard because of lack of freshness will just significantly go down. After we run that pilot in Mars, in a short period of 3 months, our order to sales time lowered by 30%, and freshness lowered by 26%, from 120 to 89 days. And customer service level is even better because we respond faster to the terminals, so there's little possibility for us to go out of stock. And it saved us $1.5 million a year in cash, which can be used in developing better businesses. So we changed from pull to push to pull, and such are the benefits that we have enjoyed out of it. Also, we have applied end-to-end lean transformation in our suppliers. And after we have implemented that, we realized there are quite a number of opportunity points as illustrated in yellow dots, in yellow boxes. After 1 month of pilot, we have achieved 1/3 less inventory, and we have a higher proportion of timely product delivery. We find that that's the impact of MFI on your inventory. And we apply that theory on our production. We have listed 10 tables. Do you think if you change frequently, does that affect your OEE? No, it doesn't, because you produce on a very regular basis, just so people could make a safe anticipation. So it is very low downtime, and our output has actually increased. And also because we adopt a quite regular cycle, so everybody could make a good plan based on that. And in our distributors, we have seen a quite big increase in this freshness. Their warehouse management is better. That's before and after. Well, that's before and after for exiting the warehouse. We found the efficiency has increased by 32%. And at the retail side, we started the pool pilot. So the freshness is improved, and indeed, the supply is also guaranteed. In conclusion, a quick one, I would say that the lean transformation is a journey where Mars was embarking on. And there are 8 key successful factors for E2E lean transformation. First, you need firm commitment by the leaders. 2, you need to have a clear E2E lean transformation vision. And you need to have a clear roadmap, a viable roadmap to achieve lean transformation. And you also need to have new KPIs. You need to have win-win relationship with your supplier. You have to have dedicated lean management team. And some businesses have yet to succeed because they have only focused too much on the toolbox, which is only tip of the iceberg. And the bulk of the iceberg, as we can see here, is first the strategy, 2, leadership, and 3rd, behavioral changes. If you don't have a clear leadership, you will have something like the left picture, and if you have a clear leadership, you have one direction. And if you don't help build up lean competence, you will see a photo, something like that on the left side. But if we have a quite clear, cohesive team, then we will see a picture on the right. If we have continuous improvement, we turn ourselves into a powerful lean machine. So summary, in order to better serve our customers, we must build agile supply chain. And through continuous improvement, we can achieve end-to-end lean transformation. And the continuous improvement is one key strategy of ours. And the 3, a successful pilot project It illustrates from a transformation from push to pull and quick replenishment based on real offtake. And fourth, we need to focus on 8 success factors. So much of my presentation. Thank you very much for your time. Now we head to Q&A. Do you have any questions from the floor? Feel free to raise them.
Yes. I have a question regarding simplification. In Mars, did you succeed to really simplify in terms of SKUs as far as sneakers is concerned, for instance? Is it a success, or are you still in the journey?
Yes, every few years we do rationalization to really think what SKU works, what SKU doesn't work. So cut those tail. We need to continue to do that. Focus on the hero SKU.
戴老师你好，我想问你一下，
I also have a question for you. You talked about the importance of plan, and the plan can never catch up with the reality, you said, right? And the products, when your supplier cannot 100% manage or control the quality of your products, and you know that refrigerated transportation, we all know that 1/3 of them, 1/3 of the vegetables and also the latest vaccine have not been properly refrigerated in their course of transportation. Do you have an opinion on the latest national reality? Do you think like a refrigerated transportation is really important? You know, of course, some at the downstream, these problems always exist. A lot of time, the sales team are responsible for that. And sales teams, their top priority is about the sales, sell their products. They pay less attention to quality, of course, in comparison to sales amount. So I think the management team need to go down to the grassroots level. The top management team need to pay visits to suppliers and to your distributor. You should just at least tag along one truck, go through the whole process, and you will come to realize where all the problems are. If you always sit in the office, you check out the PPT and look at the data and you thought everything is good, it's a misconception. That's my opinion. Thank you. I'm also a member of the supply chain. Sometimes we find that the products we deliver to the customer, it's been stored in the customer's warehouse for quite a time, for quite a while. But when we point it out to the client, they tell us they also faced with problems. They have difficulties raising the issue with the plant, asking them to produce in small lots. They have problems to communicate such an issue with the upstream. Well, I tell you something. Our customers, our distributors would like to see their inventory being better managed and controlled by the manufacturers, because it helps lower the inventory volume for them. But for us, as manufacturing plant, we have many different ways to achieve the result. For example, have you heard of milk run? I could have a truck that can replenish on regular basis. Anyway, we have many different ways to do that. We need to change our mindset.
是什么样的状况，
And then we need to replenish our products based on the real offtake. Mr. Dai, I have a question. We also track the product quality throughout the process, and we hope that it can be aligned with digital marketing. And we know that there are many similarities between the track of the quality of products as well as supply chain. And how do you do that? In the past, the manufacturers track or trace their product based on the batch number. It would only take us one day to trace the origin of it. But once it is in the hand of distributors, all the batch numbers are not in serial, and it's really very difficult for us to trace it. And also, some of the products should have been sold in East China region, but however, it was delivered to another region, so it make it more difficult. But if we can have UE code, then we can scan it, and then we can know whether it is delivered to Walmart or Carrefour, and take right and targeted actions. So if we can give each product a code, it can be easier for us to trace it instead of using a batch code. I think single code for one single product is very promising and effective. Any other questions? Mr. Dai, in the past 2 days, we have learned a lot about supply chain management. I have a question. Logistics, distribution, and the relation between logistics and distributors and retailers, so as to reduce the cost. Our company is producing low-temperature pasteurized milk. We have 2 channels. One is supermarkets, and the other is end users order. But because of the weather and season constraints, the RDC will have a very high inventory level, and sometimes it leads to huge waste. So do you have any useful suggestion for us? Well, this is a question that many producers and retailers are facing, and we have high inventory or inadequate inventory in our warehouses. So how can we replenish these products on a more regular basis based on the real needs and situation of that store? If we are based on the real offtake of that store, then we do not need to have a very high inventory level, and we can also avoid the inadequate inventory. Many retailers or stores are equipped with POS machine, and you can reach agreement with them based on the real sales. You can adjust your strategy and make your replenishment of products more accurately. And many companies now have their own DCs. And if the direct replenishment is really very difficult, then the DCs of these retailers can do the replenishment on behalf of you. Well, I have a question about designing a flexible and soft supply chain. Well, it will improve the responsiveness of companies. Well, I think this is a general trend in the future, but is it really a very good solution to all the problems? This is my first question. Are there any limitations or restraints? For example, this solution is only effective and useful for some problems, but not very effective for others. And when we are adopting the flexible approach, the company externally and internally are faced with some opportunities and challenges. So how do you comment on these opportunities and challenges and move forward? Thank you. Well, the soft production schedule and small production volume are really beautiful, but it's really very challenging. For example, if the suppliers do not have a stable product quality, then it will disturb your entire production schedule. So, stable supply chain is a precondition. If the delivery as well as the product quality of your suppliers are not stable, you can do not that. And second, we will lose some time if we frequently change the production schedule. And also, the frequent change of production schedule has also limits. While when you are designing such a production line, you need to adopt the lean approach so as to make the entire change more easily. For example, you can stop production of the chocolate and start the production of another product right after that. And cleaning of equipment can be done after the production. Only by doing so can you really realize the soft, flexible production schedule and timely replenishment of products. I have a question, Mr. Dai. You said that the time to market is very long for new products. Then the packaging of the products, what is the proportion of the time of packaging to the time to market? How can we optimize that? Packaging it's not the main obstacle for us because packaging is relatively easy. But the main obstacles are new formulas. If you want to develop new models or even redesign production lines, or you need to design a new formula, the lead time would be very long. But as packaging suppliers, the lead time of some of our promotional products packaging are very important for us. We hope that our supplier packages can make the modeling as well as the. We hope that we can make the modeling or as well.